The 308th Fighter Squadron is part of the 56th Operations Group at Luke Air Force Base, Arizona. Mission: the 308th FS fly Block 42 F-16Cs conducting F-16 Fighting Falcon crew training for active duty USAF pilots. History: World War II. Initially established under 3rd Air Force in early 1942 as a fighter squadron at Bearfield, Indiana, flying some anti-submarine patrols in the Gulf of Mexico. Deployed to the European Theater of Operations in June 1942 without aircraft as its P-40S and P-39S were deemed unsuitable for use against German aircraft in long-range bomber escort duties, was re-equipped with RAF Spitfire Versus, and its pilots and technicians spent a 2-month period undergoing intensive training in flying and fighting, with RAF pilots in the British aircraft from airfields in southeast England. The squadron flew its first combat mission on the 18th of August 1942, when it attacked enemy positions in occupied France. Assigned to the new 12th Air Force and deployed to Gibraltar in November 1942 as part of the Operation Torch invasion forces, initially operating from former Vichy French airfields in Algeria, advanced east across Algeria and Tunisia during the North African Campaign, supporting the 5th United States Army, which halted Field Marshal Rommel's advance on Allied positions. Spitfires from the squadron provided support for Allied forces as the invasion of Italy began with the capture of Sicily, and later the landings by Allied forces in Fascist Italy, moving north supporting the 5th Army during the Italian campaign. As Allied bomber forces operating from Italy began the strategic bombing of Axis petroleum and communications facilities in Central Europe and the Balkans, the squadron was re-equipped with the North American P-51 Mustang to replace the shorter-ranged Spitfire. In August 1944, the P-51s were involved in the invasion of southern France. In December 1944, the first destruction of a German jet fighter by a 308th P-51 occurred, eventually operating from the Po Valley in northern Italy at the end of the European War in May 1945. By war's end, the squadron had earned 2 Distinguished Unit citations and was involved in 8 campaigns. The squadron was largely demobilized during the summer of 1945 in Europe. A skeleton force returned to Drew Field, Florida in August, and activating largely as an administrative unit in November, reactivated from elements of several inactivating organizations in Germany in August 1946, performed occupation duty and operating early model P-8OA shooting star jets from former Luftwaffe jet-capable airfields at Gibraltar and Kitzingen. Returned to the United States in June 1947 without personnel or equipment, which remained in Germany. Cold War assigned to Strategic Air Command at Langley, AFB, Virginia as a fighter escort squadron equipped with straight-winged F-84E Thunderjets. Assigned to Turner, AFB, Georgia with mission of long-range escort of B-29 Superfortress bombers, later B-50 and B-36 Peacemakers as newer aircraft came into operation by SAC. Relieved from assignment to SAC and made non-operational in 1957 with phase-out of B-36 and end of SAC escort fighter concept. On the 1st of April 1957 the parent 31 SFW was transferred back to Tactical Air Command and moved to George AFB, California. Training trained in tactical air support of ground forces, deploying to NATO bases for operational exercises. Reassigned to Homestead AFB, Florida after the Cuban Missile Crisis, late 1962 to provide air defense of South Florida. On 8 February 1964 the 308th Fighter Squadron flew a non-stop mission from Homestead AFB, Florida, to Sigli Air Base, Turkey. The 6,600-mile trip required 8 in-flight refuelings and set a new record for the longest mass flight of jet aircraft across the Atlantic. The flight also led to the wing receiving the Tactical Air Command Outstanding Fighter Wing Award for 1964, the second consecutive year it won that prestigious award. Was deployed to Southeast Asia, 1964 as part of advisory forces operating against North Vietnamese and National Liberation Front forces in South Vietnam. For its efforts in Southeast Asia from the 16th of December 1966 to the 15th of October 1970, the 308th was awarded the Republic of Vietnam Gallantry Cross with Palm. The 308th Fighter Squadron also won the Air Force Outstanding Unit Award with Combat V device. Reassigned back to TAC at Homestead AFB in 1970 as part of re-establishment of 31st TFW upon its return from duty in Southeast Asia. Equipped with F-4S, was deployed to Thailand, July 1972, engaging North Vietnamese forces in North and South Vietnam in response to the Communist Spring Offensive. Returned to the United States in the late fall 1972. For the next 20 years, performed routine training and tactical deployments from Homestead AFB. At the end of 1986 the squadron and wing changed tail codes from ZF to HS, which better matched the squadron's location in Homestead. Upgraded to the F-16A Fighting Falcon in 1988. Upgrading to receive Shore AFB Block 25s in August 1990. With the Gulf War build-up and the 363rd TFW at Shore AFB deploying to Saudi Arabia meant no more Block 25s were available. With some F-16A B Block 15s still in service from the 308th TFS, it continued to operate both types. Modern era. When Desert Storm ended, it was decided to convert the 31st TFW to Block 40 F-16s instead. Up to this point about 10 Block 25s had reached the 308th FS and had been painted in emerald night markings. They were all sent to other units. Neither of the 31st TFW's other sister squadrons flew to the Block 25. In March 1991 the 308th began conversion to the Block 40 version of the F-16. On the 1st of October 1991 the word tactical was dropped and unit became the 308th Fighter Squadron. By early 1992 the conversion to Block 40 F-16s with the general purpose role was complete. Moved to Moody AFB, Georgia in late August 1992 when Hurricane Andrew threatened South Florida. It was to be a temporary move to Moody, but Homestead was so heavily damaged it was never reopened for any of the 31st FW squadrons after destruction of Homestead AFB. Was reassigned permanently to the 347th Operations Group at Moody. At this point the HS tailcode began to be replaced with a MI tailcode. In fact, some Block 40 F-16s were delivered right from the factory to the 308th Fighter Squadron's new home base. It deployed to Saudi Arabia from March to June 1995 in support of Operation Southern Watch. On the 1st of April 1994 the unit reassigned to Luke Air Force Base, Arizona, where it became a training unit. Training by the 308th FS is not a typical syllabus, as the 308th FS is the main training hub for turning out instructor pilots. The Emerald Knight's mission is to train F-16 pilots and deploy combat-ready airmen. The role of training instructor pilots is not exclusive, and the 308th FS still has classes of crew which are new to the Viper. The 308th ranks 10th as the most highly decorated unit in Air Force history among the 152 fighter squadrons that were ever active, with a long and distinguished service record dating from 1942. It has service around the world from Southeast Asia to Europe. On the 16th of June 2015, the unit inactivated. Lineage constituted as 308th Pursuit Squadron on the 21st of January 1942. Activated on the 30th of January 1942. Redesignated and activated on the 7th of November 1945. Activated on the 20th of August 1946. Redesignated redesigned 308th Fighter Squadron on the 1st of November 1991, and activated on the 15th of June 2015. Assignments: 31st Pursuit Group, the 30th of January 1942 to 7 November 1945. 31st Fighter Group, the 20th of August 1946. Attached to 31st Fighter Escort Wing, the 27th of July 1951, the 15th of June 1952. 31st Fighter Escort Wing, the 16th of June 1952. Attached to unknown, 15 to 21 August 1958, the 22nd of August 1958 to 19 January 1959, 11 July c. December 1959, 7 March c. Attached to 7,231 Combat Support Group, the 9th of February the 5th of May 1964 and the 9th of March the 8th of July 1965. 3D Tactical Fighter Wing, the 2nd of December 1965. Attached to 31st Tactical Fighter Wing, the 15th of November the 25th of December 1966. 31st Tactical Fighter Wing, the 25th of December 1966. 440 3D Tactical Fighter Wing, the 5th of October 1970. Attached to 8th Tactical Fighter Wing, the 11th of December 1972 to the 11th of June 1973. 31st Operations Group, the 1st of November 1991. Attached to 347th Operations Group C, the 11th of September the 19th of November 1992. 347th Operations Group, the 20th of November 1992. 56th Operations Group, the 1st of April 1994 to 15 June 2015. Stations: Aircraft Operations, World War II, Vietnam War, Emblems, ...